Hello, Flat Earth researchers. Doing all right? Hope you appreciating the view. So yeah, I thought being at the beach was an opportune moment to talk about tides. It's funny, of course, you know, the usual reaction from people, flat earthers, is that we just ignore everything. It's the other way around. It's the globe Earth narrative. Then you realise it's a con. Like, for example, I remember, you know, looking at horizons. You have a look at this horizon out here, this lovely horizon here, yeah? Now, of course, in the globe head's mind, that horizon is an edge, really. They're saying that's where curvature begins, yeah? And that's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Now, I could have, you know, something that really kind of kept me going on the path was the fact that, you know, you study horizons and the fact that, you know, you rise up and the horizon rises with you. It's not a fixed geometric form or anything like that. Oh, my coffee's arrived. Check it out. There we go. Thank you. Looks very nice. Oh, thank you. All right, that's the little beach bar here. This is the Freedom Bar. I got to wait until 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna just chill here with a coffee. That looks lovely, fantastic. Don't want to touch it. Oops. Yeah. Anyway, and some. What's that say? That looks like wank. What's that say? One can I coffee. Hey, one can I special white sugar. There you go. Get some white sugar. Get some wank white sugar. All right. Well, who have we got in there? Ben Flat. Hello. My man and his detector. Hello. I'm well, thank you, and I hope you are too. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah, horizons. Now, you know, you see, the thing is, what would be fantastic would be, for example, if anyone who studied horizons, and then you could admit that a horizon is going to occur because of the way we see the world, no matter what shape of Earth we live on. You know, visibility is going to determine how far you can see and many other things. But as you see that go up, and the horizon stays with you and things like that. And of course, your anti-flat earther, not your average globe earth believer, your anti-flat earther, going to argue the toss about that. They're going to tell you that they're going to deny reality. They're going to deny that horizons rise to the eye level, or that they all insist that horizons occur. These arguments and explanations, models, not reality, and they're just talking about the model. Yeah, if you circle and you draw a tangent line, then yes, it's going to angle to that to meet reality. It doesn't happen in reality. Because we can predict tides, just as you can predict the sunrises and sunsets and all those things. You know, being able to predict tides is, and of course, yeah, there is a correlation with the moon, absolutely no doubt. But that doesn't in any way dictate the cause and effect, does it? Really? I understand how it makes sense, and we all get the idea that the moon's gravity supposedly pulls the Earth's oceans. But really, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, you know, that's not happening when the moon is overhead necessarily. And I'm sure it's got a lot to do with the sun as well. But even so, yes, the seas have tides. Again, there's no denying that, and they are different all over the world. And frankly, if the Earth was bulging at the equator, then the tides here would be absolutely massive, wouldn't they? Here I am near the equator. We should be experiencing massive tides, you know, 10, 20 meter tides, but really it's just a couple of meters. Whereas in the UK, right up in the northern hemisphere, in Portishead, for example, done a video about it before, on the Severn estuary there, you've got tides that are at least 10 meters difference in height, you know, a couple of times a day, 2-3 times a day. and that's far away from the equator. So even that reality doesn't agree with the model, with the concept of this water bulging at the equator. We should be getting drowned out twice or 3 times a day. Yeah. Knight of the Round Table we've got in here as well. What's that? Who's that? It's very difficult to see him. Hang on a minute. Hi. What do you think about is above the dome? Is it blue water? I've no idea if there is a dome. The dome is really one of perspective as far as I understand. You know, this idea that, you know, because you see the sun and the geometry that's used, that's just perspective. Yeah. I mean, obviously there seems to be there must be, according to the physics that we understand, there must be some kind of container in order to have the pressure. But this is beyond us. This is beyond anything any of us understand. So there's lots of ideas you can throw around up there. I mean, you know, it could be liquid up there. It could be all sorts. Yeah, we could be a bubble. Who knows? Who knows? That's all something. That's all stuff that we just really don't know. It's nice to think about it. But I can't make any assertions, can I? Like anyone else. And this is the problem we have, you know, with people making assertions about not necessarily the world that we live in, but where we are in terms of, you know, space. I know. And so yeah, of course, tides occur in certain times of the year, very predictable, and what have you, and they're often related to the moon. But nothing happens in. Hang on, I'm going to try and place this so I can talk to you at the same time while I drink my coffee. Hang on. Yeah, it's just there we go. Right, just try and turn this down. Right. Stick this in a slot or something, one of these bamboo slots, so I can see you. Just move here. Hang on a sec. I want to drink my coffee before it goes cold. So. You able to see me that far away? I'm just ready to do this. How's that? How's that? A bit of beach in the background, alright? Oh, now I got the sun directly on me. Not good. Okay. We're right now. Ben flat, I know there's a lot, I don't know. Yeah, nice. Yeah, hi Boomy, hi Al. Yes, it is nice. Yes. So Kushal, people send rockets and they stop at some barrier. Yeah, I mean, there's different things you can say about that, because I know that they do talk about this particular mechanism on the rocket that stops it from going up. But then you know, there's some, I can't remember who did it, but someone did put lots of footage together of you know, all the SpaceX rockets going up and stuff, and they don't seem to be getting very far at all. Yeah. I was saying the other day, you know, this is a concept we've grown up in, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna move this again so that the sun's not beaming directly. Just a sec. Try and get this set up nicely. Sorry about this. Impromptu stream. Now just made it for myself. Just going to hold it like that while I drink my coffee. Nice cinnamon stick with it as well. Lovely. Kushal asks if I'm a fan of Eric Dubay. Well, yeah, I mean, wonderful effort. I mean, Eric's done so much to bring this to, you know, as many people's attention as possible. And like many of us, you know, Eric obviously spent a long time going through all the other stuff that makes you go and of course it's only when you've begun to realize the extent of the illusion, or just how often we're told to believe things without them and told and passed off as fact, that cappuccino moustache.
Yeah. So yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Eric. You know, I remember writing to him on Facebook saying, hey, thanks a lot. Another expat in Thailand that just come across your stuff. Nice one. So I saw Eric's video and I was a kind of flat earther overnight after watching Eric's, you know, and he talked about the horizon. Then it was many months. I just looking back, actually, I did a video in 2015 when I think a few months after that, and it was a point in time where everything had really been kind of, it was understood by then what had happened, and I was explaining that there's just two things. There's the model, there's the globe model, and that's that. It's just a concept, and then there's reality, and they don't fit together. They're two different things, and you have to. Hi, Michael. David Corbett. Hi. What's your location? Right now at Bang Tao Beach, on the west coast of Phuket. I live in Phuket. Yeah. Where was I? Let me lose track now. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You're right, Carl. Yeah, he paved the way. Absolutely. I mean, I must admit, the very first video I watched was Matt Powerland, and that was I can't remember the name of the thing, but it was at least an hour or so long. I watched that, and then immediately after that was Eric Dubay, and he had some interviews with was on Planet Veritas. Very good stuff, and I was away, and at that time we were all kind of, I suppose a lot of us were suddenly desperate for content, you know, and I started doing content just because I couldn't believe that you had to explain this stuff about horizons. That was what got me horizons, you know. It's like, yeah, come on. Because as soon as that was mentioned, it's like, well, yeah, that's reality. That's how it goes. That's what happens with horizons. Horizons are part of your vision. They're not dependent on the shape of the Earth. Yeah. But you had people arguing with that, and that's the thing. I started out kind of just trying to be very kind of balanced about it, and just really looking into it, researching, doing videos, doing high or low photography to see what happens with the horizon. And it's absolutely true. You know, and this is, again, you know, boats do not get cut off at the horizon. Boats do not go down the curvature. Yeah, boats will go off and off and off into the horizon, all the way out there. Yeah, they'll go off and off and off and off and off. Yeah, depending on your height above the surface, you'll get to a certain point. Let's just put the camera there so you can see it. You know, you'll get to a certain point, and we're low down here, so it wouldn't be too far across that surface that a boat would reach what appears to be our horizon. But then when it reached that horizon, it would just stay on the horizon. Especially with these conditions, it's not too bad. But obviously, as you get further out, then the waves do get choppy, and that is what cuts. The thing, you have people arguing with these ridiculous pictures. You know, you see the same pictures that have been around since forever, where someone's got really low to the surface, made sure that there are waves and stuff in the way, so that a boat several kilometers away and zoomed in, you can only see the sail. And they say, oh, that's curvature. And it's like, well, no, stand up. If you're going to do it properly, if you're going to be scientific about it, stand up or get to a higher elevation, see what happens to your horizon. Does your horizon stay there? And in the same relative position to the boat that's on it? No, it doesn't. You rise up and you'll see that the horizon goes higher than the boat itself. And that's not because you're looking down, that's just what happens. And this simple thing, this simple phenomenon, observation, has to be ignored by the globe Earth believers, yeah? So, Sleeping Warrior, hello. Is it me or is that sun glare huge compared to normal? Well, yeah, I mean, I do, you know, I come here, the sun does change size, yeah, it does. One man, yes, we tend to say ships go off into the horizon, not ships go over the horizon. Yes, absolutely, I mean, and of course it would depend on what you're trying to get across. Excrete, hello mate. Seem much easier to access all sorts of different content, but yeah, true. Obviously, we've been thingy. But of course, what happens is oh, hello. Do you want to see this chicken? Oh, hang on. Turn it around so you can see the chicken on the beach. What's happened, of course, is that, you know, these people like the Simon Dans and what have you, they actually, you know, and they pay for their views. I mean, you can go and look at it. Just check out this chicken on the beach. All right. You can go and get You can just go and order them. If you want to get views on any social media channel, go look it up. Do a Google search. Just buy YouTube views. Buy this, buy that for any social media thing. Yeah, and you'll find a website offering to sell you people, subscribers, visits, views. It depends. Yeah, and that's what some of these guys did. So of course, you know, although YouTube would claim to not you know, allow that kind of thing, they do. Yeah. What's that? Why don't you promote vegetarian or vegan diet and talk against animal abuse? Right. Have you seen all my videos? That's not my thing. Yeah. I mean, you know, what you know, you could talk about child abuse. You could talk about this. You could talk about that. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Anthony, yeah. You know? Is all that white stuff snow? No, I'm on the beach. It's the beach, man. Sand. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Paulie. Oh, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, all the wool's gone now. Yes, Al. So, it's quite funny what's happened to Thailand, really. So, I just did if you got time, please do subscribe to PhuketWord.net. That's my little website. I had PhuketWord.com for a long time, but that just got, I just left it. So I got PhuketWord.net. I just uploaded 2 stories today. Yes, pretty much back to normal. You don't have to get this, what they call a Thai pass anymore. You don't have to be vaccinated, and you don't have to spend any time in quarantine, regardless of your vaccine status. It's quite funny. If you've been vaccinated, then you have to prove it and produce the proof. But if you haven't, you don't have to produce any proof. All right? So that's quite funny. Now, the only thing they say there's no insurance requirements either. When I had to come back here, I had to get insurance. Yeah. I don't have to get insurance anymore. And there's you don't necessarily, they request that you get a PCR test 72 hours beforehand. Hi Mighty Atom. But you don't have to. They're basically saying they're going to randomly check people when they arrive. Yeah. And if you haven't had a test, if you're unvaccinated and you haven't had a test, they might ask you to do a test there and then, and you'll know the results in 10-15 minutes. Yeah. But basically, they made the thing. They made COVID, Corona. Oh, hi, Iron Horse. Good to see you, man. They made it endemic, you know. So they pretty much stopped talking about it now. Except it's you know, it's funny because people are still wandering around in masks. It's insane. It's really become, because it was so long, done for so long. It's really become ingrained in the culture. Absolutely insane. So. You know, I keep pointing it out. People on bikes are still, you know, they go out, they might go, you know, just walking about on their own, or even in the neighbourhood, they're wearing masks. It's just, they've just got into the habit of it. They're not thinking, you know. So yeah. Yeah, it's so all those gone, and yeah, you saw someone still wearing a mask? Oh my goodness, really, and a plastic face mask. That's right, Knights of the Round Table, people on bikes with a mask and no helmet, yes. Masks have been reintroduced to your doctors, oh dear, yeah. Okay. And Andrew's asking, did you and your property estate... Oh, no, you're asking Carl. Okay. Yeah, and then as far as the weed situation goes, it's kind of like, they decriminalized it, and it's a lot easier to get hold of now. And I suppose, you know, you're kind of allowed to grow it. I mean, you still can't necessarily, I don't know, yes, you can, you register. Basically, if you're going to sell it, you've got to register. And, but they're still kind of now scrabbling around to make certain rules, like, for example, a joint is illegal. So to make a marijuana cigarette is illegal. But it's not illegal, you know, if you can basically and they just want you to register. If you have a few plants in your house and you register, then it's okay. You just tell them that you're using them for medicinal purposes. Yeah. Okay. So Carl, I'm not sure where you are. Carl and Iron Horse, are you both in the same place? And there's flooding, is there? Okay, Iron Horse, you're uploading a video. I hope someone like you can make it into emotion. Okay. Boom Me, do you think those masking are a glitch in the Matrix or NPCs? Well, Al, it's you know, in some ways, I suppose for some people, it must be a thing. It maybe adds some confidence. It's like some people like to wear sunglasses because they might not even realize it themselves, but it's maybe because they, hello DM, and hello Kuroslav. Okay. From Serbia, hello. Alright. You got free weed now. Oh, lovely. Yeah, and it's summertime too. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so just to remind you that it's fact. Yeah. And David Weiss did a good thing the other day. It was a nice interview. You were talking to someone who seemed quite open-minded, but as usual, they were kind of like, "Well, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I still don't get it." Yeah. So, how's that looking? It just is, Nick. It's just what's that bloody well is reality. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is the thing. And I think looking back at what was happening into 2015 is that it's Flat Earth is really helpful in understanding the difference between, you know, the illusions of life and reality. Of course, all of us, if we're on a truth-seeking journey, we're trying our best to work out what's going on in our heads. And of course, we do at some point realize that we operate on a very kind of you know, we've been programmed, yeah. So but of course, someone who completely denies that they've ever been influenced by anything is lying. They're lying to you, they're lying to themselves. Yeah. And yeah, that's true, one man. It did, you know, there was a lot of I think it was probably chaotic for a lot of, because it is chaotic, isn't it? It's when you start to it is life-changing, isn't it? And that happens, and it doesn't have to be Flat Earth, it could be anything, but you know, there are moments in all of our lives that force us to think about who we are, where we are. Hi Trackmatic, long time no see. You know, this is just our life path. Yeah. Hi Corey. That's what's fantastic about being in this Buddhist culture, because there is this underlying understanding that we are born into a world of illusion, and it's funny how we can end up being so caught up in that, and we can spend time and money and energy in this illusion of egotistical things, and of course based on this idea that you've got to do something, you've got to prove yourself, you've got to get letters after your name, or you've got to earn a certain amount of money and things like that. And so the thing is, though, I mean, people are wonderfully innovative things. I mean, again, it's easy to tar the flat earthers with the same brush and assume that they don't want to make progress or things like that. I want to go back to the cave, the Stone Age, and again, that's completely opposite. We understand that there's certain technologies and stuff that have been suppressed, and we could be in a much better place instead of focusing on going up to Level Earth Observer. Adam made a very poignant video the other day, because there's so much money and focus poured into this so-called space exploration, when it could be put towards helping people, setting things right in the here and now. And that's the thing, you look at space documentaries these days. One came up in my feed, and they're talking about it as fact. It's like there's this idea that billions of years ago the moon collided with the Earth, and because the Earth is bigger, it kind of absorbed most of the impact, and the moon hung around and eventually created this miraculous equilibrium. But that's the story. That's the official story, and somehow this has now been just passed off as facts. This is what we're told is facts these days. Yeah, without any, that you might have looked at things spinning around in space and assume that there's some kind of evidence that that's what's happened. But it's just a story. Yeah, and this is where scientism becomes a religion, because you're having to have faith in these stories and these explanations, and they tell you this is how it was billions of years ago. Basically, it's a creation story. Yeah, the Big Bang is a creation story, but if you look at the real laws of physics, I mean, they even admit that you have to change the laws of physics. Don't exist, or they change, or whatever. They become exotic at the moment after the Big Bang and all that, because they haven't got a clue, because it's all an assumption, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and that's not something we can ever really know. So this is where it becomes a religion, because they've given you a creation story. Okay, what alternatives do we have? Well, no religion can really tell you very clearly what happened. Is all you can say is created by God, and of course we can think of God in many forms. It doesn't have to be the form that we're necessarily taught, but there is a power, there is a consciousness, there is some kind of divinity going on. Our lives do have a lot of meaning, and of course that's another thing that puts people off. If we can go along with the narrative that everything's just an accident, then you don't necessarily have to think about your own past, your own misdeeds and things like that. But we've all done them. There's all things we've done since we were kids that we maybe regret, or we don't even think about. We won't even let ourselves think about. And frankly, we have to. You have to address those issues. Maybe that's part of the lesson in life is addressing issues. Realizing if you get to a point where you've realized you've done some bad things, you've made something, or you've hurt other people, and if you can try to do something to make amends, or even be aware of it, that might be enough. Just to send that kind of energy out there, rather than spending your whole life in denial. Then again, that might be the point of being here and experiencing this. None of us really know. That's the thing, isn't it? None of us really know why we're here. And for anyone to state point blank that they know is again lying. Yeah. So And I think it's good, isn't it? It's healthy. It's healthy to get through that. It's healthy to, maybe stage 1 is realizing that you've been lied to, but stage 2 is also kind of realizing that you're just as guilty of doing those things throughout your life anyway. Paulie, I feel more rounded as a person just to admit the truth. I don't know what this realm is. Oops, yes, but I know it's not spinning. Yeah, Paul, that's lovely, nicely said, mate. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And of course, a lot of this comes, and that's just like you say, grounded. You're well rounded because now you're going with reality, and you're not making any assumptions about anything beyond that. And so there's no discomfort. There's comfort in that letting go of not knowing. Yeah, a lot of people hate to say that they don't know. Happy Joe, Jesus Lord, the way, the truth, and the light. Well, yeah. I mean, you can say that, but again, that's always open to interpretation. You could always talk about Jesus as being within you. Now, I've got Muslim friends that basically, for them, Jesus was the same as Muhammad, and so was Buddha. These are all just people that have been on this earth at certain times, and they get it, they understand it. Now, I heard a good thing from a Buddhist monk the other day. It was what was his name? The guy who does Plum Village. Was his name Tak? It was a Vietnamese monk, and when he was talking about the monks who would immolate, is that the right word? Pour petrol on themselves and set themselves alight. Now, this wasn't necessarily a suicide, but this act is born out of compassion for humanity, and the desperation to try and send a message out there. Can you imagine being that compassionate? And that's the kind of compassion they talk about with Jesus or Muhammad or anyone. They really were wholeheartedly prepared to die for the message. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean you have to suddenly feel guilty that Jesus died on the cross for you. You should. Yeah. And maybe I was thinking, just go back to what I was talking about earlier. Maybe when you talk about being born in sin, that's the thing. You can't help but make mistakes as a human. You're going to do it. It's going to happen to you. No one is, children or whatever. It doesn't matter. But the whole objective in that sense, I would say, is to see that at some point. You make these mistakes. You hurt people. You say things. You do things that are mean. And so eventually you have to realize that how much you might have impacted someone. Yeah. And sorry, I keep getting no one's flower, self-immolation. Yeah, I can't remember what I said, but it was close enough, right? You know what I meant. Yeah. That's the thing, and all these people, Malcolm X, people like that, all these people fighting for rights and feeling no fear, because they just know that, or even a musician, someone like Kate Bush. I remember Kate Bush in an interview, she said, "But that's why I'm here. I'm doing what I'm here to do." She knew she was here to sing songs, to write music and sing songs, and that's, it doesn't matter whether you believe what shape the earth is. If you are in touch with your reason d'être, your reason for being here, that's fantastic. And no one should feel that they haven't got any reason for being here. We've all got something unique to do, to add. Yeah. What's that one, man? It's because we are in hell and we are all demons. Well, again, heaven and hell can happen on earth. Yeah, boo me, Al. If we look at churches, they were something clearly related, tracking the luminaries, but something must have happened to change the current story. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of esoteric knowledge that was already known about the stars and cymatics and all that stuff. Yeah, it's all been lost. Yeah, so, and you can see how, things are stuffed down the memory hole. Yeah, so sure. Yeah. What's that? The Knight of the Round Table? The cross he dies on is the Southern Cross constellation. The sun drops to the degree and stays there for 3 days, then it's restored to come back to the summer. Yeah, again, this is it. You can, of course, interpret that in that way as well. And so really, you know, we can look at the Bible as a whole mixture of these things, and that is a lot of what the scripts are, aren't they? I mean, you take what we see in reality and what we can observe and what we can predict, and tell some kind of story with that, make some associations. And yes, this place is divine in that sense. So I'm just looking at this aircraft. It looks like it's moving really slowly. I'm just see if you can, I'm not sure if you can see. You probably can't see that, but the airport's over there. So it's like, wow, that's really, it doesn't seem to be moving very much. But it's getting there. Wow, it seems to be really struggling. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that at all. Probably not. Just get this back a minute. There we go. So yeah, I think that's probably what's really important for all of us, is to get to that point where you surrender. You really do surrender. You try and make amends for some of those things that you might have done in the past, but you also accept that there's nothing you can do to change the past. And your idea of what happened is probably quite different to anyone else that was experiencing it. You know. It's certainly an adventure. Yeah. So, just some personal news. I finally got Thai passports for my kids now, so they all have their dual nationality. So finally, with restrictions lifted as well, I might well be able to take my kids somewhere. It would be wonderful if I could actually take them, you know, to England. It's a long-term plan, but they must see their culture. At least I have something to compare it to. Yeah, it's fantastic here, obviously being able to come to the beach and stuff. But there's a lot to be said. Thank you, one man. Yeah, it's a relief, you know. And that's the thing, you know. To be honest, you have to. If you want, unfortunately, that's the way it is. We can't travel like we used to. You know, if you want to travel, you need a passport, and you know you've got to do all these things. You got to suck it up sometimes and just deal with it. And it's yeah. But personally, you know, although just hanging around here would be idyllic on this desert island. It's also important as a father to do what I can for my kids and give them whatever opportunities I can. So let's see how that goes. I'll let you know when I eventually get to the UK with one or two of them to start with. Obviously, once, you know, because they got, you know, I mean, I did their their British passports before the whole COVID thing. Oh, you're changing your English pass to Danish pass. Oh. I don't know if that would give you any more privileges or if it makes much difference, but interesting. You'd have to change it, you can't get both, huh? So, yeah, you know, I kind of like, I did their British passports before COVID, and getting those together was absolutely, it's very expensive, very time consuming, lots of documents to get in order. So it's really, I really need to keep those up. I need to kind of, because it's already like already almost 5 years since I did their British passports, and I was like, I haven't done anything with them because of all this whole corona nonsense and not being able to go anywhere. So hopefully, with the country now opened up, it's a lot easier to travel and makes it more feasible. And of course, I'm still eternally grateful for all those of you who helped out to help me get here during the times when it was crazy. Okay, what's that one, man? Makes it easier for you to travel here and plus live life in DK since. Okay, right. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, if you're that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, obviously, England seems to have done itself out of favour with the European thing. It's making life a lot more difficult now, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? Just these policies just come and go. It really is. Yeah. So, well, good luck with that one man. And Iron Horse, it's lovely to see you. I'll check out your latest videos. And I think, you know, maybe it'd be a good point to leave it for now. So yeah, just that. Yeah, lovely view here, and of course you can see that it's you know, the horizon isn't curvature. Okay, so Mighty Atoms, just read your comment. Not after seeing people damage my elderly neighbour after recovering a heart bypass, now stuck with a clot. Oh man, oh that's terrible. Took the shot, did they? Yeah, what's that one man? 9% of experts changed their passport to Danish because of Brexit. Really? Oh really? I didn't know that. Wow, it made a big difference then. That's the thing, isn't it? You've got to think, you know, Brexit was, again, it was just one of those things that people were arguing about, families were breaking up on, but someone somewhere obviously was going to benefit hugely from this. A lot of money was poured into the whole Brexit propaganda. So it was obviously made sense, and it was going to make money for certain interested parties. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It is also interesting that happened around the same time. Sorry, don't. No, it's not a downer. It's not a downer. And that's the thing, you know. I must say that, you know, there is a lot of doom and gloom out there, and there's a lot of things that we can, you know, we can, you know, if you spend too much time on brand YouTube and stuff like that, you could end up thinking that, you know, it's not worth doing anything, or that you can't go anywhere and you can't achieve anything. A lot of the time, some of those things can be demotivating. You know, it's important not to let yourself kind of get into that trap of thinking that, oh, I can't do this, woe is me, the world's fucked. It's not actually. It's only fucked when we allow it to be fucked. And there's always going to be stuff going on. There's always going to be crazy stuff. There's always going to be really bad stuff going on. And there's always going to be influential people involved in really bad stuff. You know, all you can ever do is walk your own path and do those things that come, you know, that you're supposed to do. Yeah, and it is possible to climb those mountains. Yeah. All right, Iron Horse. Yeah, thank you. Effed Up World. Hello there. Okay. All right. So fantastic to see you all in chat. But I'm going to leave you there because I've got to go now. I've got things to do here. So really good to see you all. And I'll give you a. Oops. I'm just going to give you a nice tie Y here. There you go. All right. Thank you. And yeah, we'll all catch up very soon. Okay. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. All right. Cheers.